Hey y'all, how you doing? I hope you're well. I haven't been on here for a little while in this way, so I just wanted to just actually put out a little invitation for us all. I think for many people this time of year can, in one sense, maybe creates a sense of inspiration and, excitement or motivation or productivity. But for me personally, it's just my personal view perspective. This to me is the heart of winter, and the new year for me isn't until the spring when nature starts to wake up and, emerge from the depths of the dark soil. So I guess my invitation to you is to still give yourself the permission to go slow and to not put yourself under some kind of pressure that you all of a sudden have to achieve all of these things and get all your ducks in a row and all of that stuff. And I think, okay, we're in a new calendar year. And so there is a collective kind of awareness of that and agreement of that. And so if there's anything that I would kind of put out there for 2025, and I spoke about this on my podcast this week, is we're really, really, really at a choice point again, like now more than ever. We have been, especially the last 5 years, but now more than ever. And really, do we choose the path of love and peace and collaboration and compassion and unity, or do we choose the path of fear and stress and division and competition and all of these kind of old school paradigms that I think are really going to be shattered this year? But I talked about in this recent episode about why authenticity is going to be so important, and discernment, because as we're coming into this like really sci-fi world where it's going to be harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not, we need to discern what feels true, what feels authentic, what feels in alignment with truth and love and soul. I would say I would really put it into those words rather than something that is kind of manufactured and fake and manipulative. And I think we are coming to this kind of split of like the natural world and the sci-fi world. And it's not to say that technology can't have benefits, but I was just listening to Pam Gregory, who was sharing an analogy that Heather Ainsworth used, which is, the caterpillar could use technology and become a much better, faster, whatever butterfly, but it will never actually become a butterfly, right? So the point is the natural process of being human. And I think like the disclosure that we're going to come across this year, not just the external disclosure, but the disclosure of like who we truly are and our immense, incredible, miraculous, gorgeous ability that we have as human beings and as infinite souls. And I'm not trying to say like speak in some woo-woo level. It's just like all of these abilities that we see in superhero films or in fantasy stories or in sci-fi or all of that stuff, whatever that may be and whatever that might mean to you, I really truly believe that we are so much more capable than we believe ourselves to be. And the more that we go into stillness and silence and listen to ourselves and really get to understand and feel the resonance of our heart, the essence of who we truly are, our being, our spirit, our soul, all of these things start to kind of percolate and wake up, and we remember, so the more still I become, the louder the voice of my intuition, and it might not be through hearing it, it might be through seeing it, it might be through feeling it, it might be through a gnosis. And we all have these things, that like intuition and having psychic abilities is not a gift. It's literally just the incredible design and incredible technology that we are as human beings. And so it's really easy to get distracted into the outer world and all of these things that technology can do, which is like, okay, cool. If it's used for the good, right? Great. But look at your own inner technology. And I don't even like that word, but I have to use it because that's the words that we use. But look at your design. And I think, our mind is so powerful. And if we can drop it into alignment with our heart and our gut and our true inner knowing and wisdom, which can really only be tapped into if we remember that we are worthy and that we're good enough, and that we have everything that we need, really, that the answers don't lie outside of us. Like, y'all know this, right? I don't know why I get Southern, y'all. I just like that term. I think that's what we're waking up to. And so I think the invitation for this year is, as it gets very loud and potentially chaotic and confusing, that discernment and that coming into what is authentically you. That means we have to be honest with ourselves, and we have to be transparent and have the courage to be vulnerable and the courage to be real and raw in an ever increasingly fake artificial world, where it might be hard to tell the difference, but you tell the difference through resonance, through feeling, through intuition, through sensing, right? And that's the brilliance of what's going on in this time, is that, like, we then awaken all of our dormant abilities, and that lack of feeling whole or feeling fragmented or not feeling good enough or enough something, all of a sudden kind of comes into cohesion. And there's like that, when there's that, what they do with Japanese, when something breaks and they paint it, they glue it together with this gold glue, and they show the cracks, right? It's like it becomes a work of art itself. We're like that, right? And we're not actually broken. It's just we're severed and fragmented from ourselves. And the way to bring that into cohesion is by including all parts of us without any shame or judgment, right? With just pure love and understanding and compassion and forgiveness and all of those things that you might need in order to get to that place of like, oh yeah, I accept me. And then we're so much more generous of spirit with ourselves and with others. So yeah, to wrap it up, I think the invitation is, how do we become more authentic? How do we become more honest and discerning of what is real and not real, not wheel, and letting love be the guide rather than fear. Don't get caught and hoodwinked into the game of fear, because it will convince you. I speak a little bit about it in the podcast about my daughter and I watched Wrinkle in Time, and the It, if you have seen that film or if you watch it, it will plug into your faults, your insecurities, your fears, your anxieties. And it can completely manipulate your mind, right? But if you just are like, there's nothing for me to be afraid of. There's nothing so terrible about myself or about life, because we're not going to die. Our body will die, but we continue. Our consciousness continues. So essentially, there's nothing to be afraid of, And if you can get to the point of not being afraid of pain and the shadow, then you're liberated. You're liberated. So yeah, my prayer, my wish, my desire for us all is to really this year truly, truly step into our authenticity, our sovereignty, and our heart. Really, really live from heart. So that's it. You can take it or leave it, as always, if it resonates, if it doesn't, but just sharing that and loving you from afar. Bye.